Hi viewers, good morning. How are you
Really? So
today?
you're following through with that?
So
Oh
good to
my
have you
goodness.
here.
Okay, fine. Fine,
So
fine,
Prof
fine.
wasn't expecting that. It
No,
wasn't. Remember last week, I did say that from last week on, I will be welcoming you guys first, greet you and say thank you for joining us before I greet Prof. And he wasn't expecting it. I'm sure he had forgotten. But yes, I hope you're
yeah.
well. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hello, Prof. How are you doing?
Well, it's okay. You see, I'm not going to react to what you did, Bibby.
Ah,
I'm going to be myself and say, hi, Bibby, how are you? Everything is great. I hope you're doing very well. You look great. You see? And then I get around to viewers. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Yeah, great. Wow. I'm fine. Thank you, Prof. So, viewers, you see, that really worked well, right? It worked well. So, thank you for joining us this morning. It is another beautiful day, another beautiful Sunday morning, and it's your favorite Sunday morning show. It's SonRise, So, please do tell your friends and your family that we are live. So, yes, let them come in and join in the conversation this morning. So, Prof, how was your week? Did you have a good one?
Yeah, good. Good week. I think that obviously now we are coming towards, would you say, the end of the summer holiday?
I
In a
know.
couple
Yeah.
of weeks, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, yeah, just enjoying the great weather, but also looking forward to a break as things ease up. Take a break, step back, enjoy the season. Why not? Always something to be
That's
juggling,
nice.
right?
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I think I was reminded about summer coming to an end by, waking up during the week last week at about 5 a.m. and it was still pretty much dark outside. And I was like, oh, here comes end of summer. Like
It's not
literally
that bad. Autumn has
well,
its own positive points. That's the
yes, for me, it's just like I think I've just got used to, waking up at or maybe opening my eyes at 4 a.m. and I can see some kind of bright whatever outside. But now it's still, and then maybe because
you need to
late.
change your blackout curtains, baby.
Oh, please, Prof, please. There are some of us that don't really sleep with curtains down like that.
Well,
So
there
yeah.
you go.
So, Prof, last week on the show, we're talking about decision making in terms of, people getting their A levels results and making decision to go whether to go to uni or not and all. And in the last 1 week, actually, we've seen that kind of show up on a much larger scale. And this is, I'm talking about the situation in Afghanistan right now. And we've been following, I have been following, and I'm sure you've been following the news as well. You've been watching different things on TV. And I was just looking at all the things that they're being shown to us at the moment. And then thinking that, okay, this is where someone, some group, some people, some leaders, whoever sat down, made a decision, and now there is the impact, the result of that decision right out there at the moment. It is very easy to say, oh, all of this is the fault of the US because they pull out of the country, right? But even before we get there, let's even say before we are getting to that, some decisions were made which caused all of these troops to be in the country in the first place. And now we can see, of course, UK pulled out, US pulled out, and what was literally done for the last, say, 20 years, I believe they've been saying, has been undone within a couple of weeks or so. And people are living in the fear of, let's say the fear of the unknown, let's just put it that way. But what I want us to talk about this morning, it's not even about the issues going on around there. No, it's more on decision making and the impact of those decisions. So when we are making decisions, what do we do? Do we ever even consider the impact of our decisions on the people, on our community, on our states, even as an individual, on our family? If I decide to say I got offered a job in where? Dubai. I like Dubai. So in Dubai. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yes, I'll take that and everything. Without speaking with my husband, speaking with the children to find out whether this is something they would like to do. And, without even considering so many things, my friends, my church, my family, and all of that. What does that really mean? So I want you to if you can, just help to look, maybe put it in different pockets. What is it with decision making, and how can we ensure that when we're making decisions, we are constantly thinking about the impact those decisions might have on the people around us, or even on us as a person as well?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Thank you, Bibby. And I like the way you've positioned this. Obviously, we don't just want to talk about things. We want to see how those things have implications for us and how we can learn from those things. So, of course, the situation in Afghanistan is I think there's no winner all around. Well, some people might say there are winners, but when you look at the lives of the people who are living through this, we certainly sympathize, empathize with them. We pray for and with them, and we just believe for better. However, to the point that you're making, which is around decision making, it's an interesting one, right? Because I think at the core of our faith, right, decision making is actually central to it, and making the right decisions.
Yeah.
What I find interesting, Psalm 23, when we talk about it, there's a part he says, "You lead me in the path of righteousness for your name's sake." Yes. Right? What is righteousness? Righteousness is, in a simplistic way, saying being right, doing the right things. How do you end up being right to do the right things? By making the right decisions and following through with those right decisions. And so, even with that ancient psalm, there's a recognition that in order to be in the right place, or in order to kind of live the lives that we want to experience and enjoy the outcomes that we look forward to, we want to somehow be able to always make the right decisions.
That's right.
The problem we have with that, of course, is that by definition, human beings are limited. For you to always make the right decisions, you would want to be able to have access to all the information that can be had, understand all that information, see how everything connects, and then be able to say, right, this is the right decision to make. There's no human being that has that capability. However, of course, again, by definition, the very opposite, which is God, unlimited in capability, unlimited in capacity, unlimited in ability, right? So has access to all the information there is and will ever be, understands exactly how things connect together, indeed moves those things, right? And so that means at every point, God always makes the right decisions. I think that's why the psalmist said, "You lead me," right? I don't lead myself. And as somebody would say, in fact, right after that, he said, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death," meaning that, when I then take it upon myself, sometimes I'll make the wrong decision. They'll take me to that other place that, I don't necessarily want to be. So I think that just building on that foundation, when we see in the life of Jesus talks about making decisions as well, right? And we see that scripture where he talked about which one of you, he says, who wants to build a tower, right? Does not sit down, count the cost of building the tower before you start, so that you don't start and don't finish. That's about decision making, about planning, right? You start right up front and then assess what you have and make a decision regarding it. Otherwise, it ends in tears. We see him making the same analogy in a similar way about the king going out to war and saying, right, if I have fewer men and this person has more men, I need to think about the right decision in this case, right? What's the best thing to do? And taking that further, you see Apostle Paul now looking at the consequences of decisions, where he says every man's work will be tested, and as it were, passed through the fire, right? And those things which are going to be easily burnt with fire. So if you build with wood, stubble, with paper, if you like, once it goes through the fire, it's going to burn up completely. Or if you build with gold, when it goes through the fire, it's going to come out strong, right? So we see all of these perspectives. So number one, decisions are a fact of life. We will have to make decisions, whether we like it or not, right? As you've probably heard this common saying, we are a product of the decisions that have been made, we've made, right?
That's right.
Often, actually, they are not just decisions we've made, because
made for us as well.
Exactly, because neither of us had a choice in whether we entered this world or not, baby.
Absolutely, absolutely, right?
Yeah, so where we are is a consequence of decisions, whether these are our decisions or other people's decisions, right? So that's one. Then the second thing is, we might say that early on, but as we grow wiser and older, it gets to a point where we actually are in the driving seat when it comes to decisions. Okay, so you see that progression from the psalmist saying, "You lead me in the path of righteousness," which will always be the case, right? But as you grow from a child, there's a bit less of, just being led, if you like, to being a collaborator in that process. And then you get to the point that Jesus was talking about, where he says you sit down and you assess and you make the right decision. There's a responsibility on you to make sure you're making the right decision. And then from there, you get to the point that Apostle Paul was making, which is that those decisions will have consequences. And you have to bear that in mind. And this is to the point that we're making about those consequences. And we know that consequences of decisions aren't just on us. Like we just said, we didn't decide to come to this world, right? A man and a woman somewhere made a decision.
Yeah, that's
Here we are, right? And for the first parts of our lives, we didn't make any decision about pretty much anything. It impacted us. We didn't necessarily choose where we would go to school. We didn't choose where we would live, all of that stuff. And then as we grew older, we got to a point where we started to partner with people in making those decisions. They would consult us, like you said. I didn't speak to my children. We get consulted. Then it gets to a point where we're in the driving seat, like your husband, and then we also now get to a point, tying this to the whole responsibility axis, where we recognize that the impact of those decisions is not just on us, but some other people. So we're talking of financial impact.
Yeah.
Okay? The decision that you are referencing in this country that we're talking of, Afghanistan, the financial impact of those decisions, in some estimates, we're talking of trillions of dollars. That's it's so big that most of us can't even understand what that means. Just too many zeros, right? That's one. Now think of that at a personal level. In some way or another, every decision that we take, sort of somehow or another, has a financial impact. It might be minor, but there is a financial impact.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? I think that for most of us, when we sit down, and this is kind of what Jesus was saying, he said, look, they count the cost, right? Cost of there's financial, but there are other elements of it. But for most of us, there's a barrier. There's a level where we get to below this level. Yeah, I'm not bothered. For some people, it might be £10, for some it might be 100, for some it might be 1,000, depends on where you are, right?
Yeah.
But there's a level beyond which you think, I have to think about this very carefully. So there's a financial aspect to it. And bear in mind, I haven't said cost, because cost is different. There's a financial element and so forth.
Yeah.
Then there's a mental/emotional part of it. And this is where we start to talk about, on the one hand, our own well-being.
Yeah.
Has affected us. So you make that decision to move, then it affects other things inside, your relationship with church and so forth. There's the mental well-being part of it. But there's the relationship part of it as well.
That's right, yeah.
Right? And then it starts to affect relationships that we have with other people. With other aspects of ourselves, and even with things around us. And I say things, sometimes we don't realize that we have relationships with things, but you built up such a great memory, say, around a particular location, and then you just that up, and then you realize that's affecting, you in other ways. So you've got that financial part of it. You've got that kind of mental/emotional part of it. But I think we've also got the purely physical part of it, right? And again, you see that in terms of physical loss.
Yeah.
And we see all of these things playing out, right? With the Afghanistan example you're giving. Physical loss of lives.
Yeah.
Livelihood, loss of, buildings and things like that.
Yeah.
Often people pay a lot of attention to that because that's the one that's easiest to see, right? You may not be able to tell how much something has hit somebody financially unless they tell you. You may not be able to tell what's going on in their minds unless they tell you. But the physical, you can see, right?
Yeah.
You take that stuff, put it in fire, it burns up. Nothing comes out. Straight away you can see. So I think that for us, what this really says is, it's very easy to sit as with every situation and say, oh, it's your fault. It's this person's fault. That's the most basic level of, I'll say, competence analysis. You don't need to think deeply about it to say it's somebody's fault, right? So and that's what a lot of people will spend time doing with this situation and in our lives, right? And we see that a lot, even in among Christians, where things don't go as planned. Again, linking this to what Pastor Amy has been talking about, growing up. Instead of sitting and thinking, right, okay, where did things go wrong and what can I learn from it? The first thing we want to do is say, this is this person's fault. Doing that is not going to help us to learn how to make better decisions. It just helps us to become experts at passing the buck and laying the blame at somebody else's feet.
Yeah.
Right? And so what we want to be able to do is to sit and think, what can we learn? We can't always go back and change the decisions. In fact, we can't ever go back to change decisions, right?
Never happened, yeah.
Yeah, because we can't time travel. We can impact the present and say, what can we change now, right? That would mitigate the impact of what's happened in the past, but even better, help us to make better decisions going forward, right?
Yeah.
And this is why we need to understand why those decisions were made in the first place. So coming full circle, when I was talking about having information, understanding what that information means and how it connects to other stuff, underpinning every decision is knowledge and wisdom. I'll explain. Knowledge is having that information.
Yeah.
And wisdom, in this way I'm using it, is being able to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Understanding that information plus in the context of that other information will result in something else. And not everybody is good at doing that, right? We can accumulate a lot of information, but not actually realize the implications of that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and that's at human level where we can educate ourselves. Sometimes we learn from experience. Right. So if you switch off that light, or if you switch off the power before traveling, because I want to make sure that I save electricity. It's going to be a boiler. And that means when I come back, everything's going to be so
coming to good well. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn that from experience. And so you think, let's do it. Some other times you can actually learn from deduction, right? Be more knowledgeable, be wiser, and these things we can ask, right? The Bible says, if anybody lacks wisdom, ask, and God will give us. But ultimately, where we want to be, full circle, is to get back to the place where we say, you know what? Yes, we understand we have our capabilities, we understand all of these things, and we will use those. But ultimately, we want to also lean on who will not lead us astray.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever decisions we're making, you still want to go to the place of validating that decision and understanding, because this is the one person that can see all possible possibilities, all possible outcomes, how all of them connect, and lead you the right decision may not always lead to the outcome that you want. But as long as the decision that is in line with God's leading and what his purpose and plan is, then it will be the
it will always be. But, Prof, thank you so much for that. I don't think there's anything else to add at this point, because you've kind of just nailed it. As you said, for me, I think decision making, if you go about it the right way, it gets you in that place where you can take responsibility. You said you get knowledge and then you get wisdom in order to make the right decision. At that point, you would know whether this is something you want to be responsible for or not. So that is so powerful. And at this point, please, let's just say that we send our prayers to the people of Afghanistan. We pray that the peace of God that passes all understanding will reign in that country and in the countries of the world, because where there is peace in one country, we want to see it all around, not in one place. So viewers, unfortunately, it's like we've come to that point where we're like, there's no more time. Please don't go anywhere. When we come back, it will be our Spotlight Minutes. See you soon.
See you.
Coming to your living room this summer. SonRise like you've never seen it before. 4 passionate debaters, 2 opposing teams, 1 question. Should there ever be limits to freedom of expression?
Hi, my name is Shegun Anian from the Braveheart team. And if there's one place I would love to live, that would be Abu Dhabi. And there's a reason why I'm confident, because when I speak, people listen. And listen up, the Avengers team, brace yourself, because I'm coming for you.
So gentlemen, basically it's like the House of Parliament, where you have the ministers who engage each other in the House of Commons in debating. And something, they will have a good argument over policy in the country. And after the argument, they will still meet up, have a cup of tea, say, my dear left honourable gentlemen, that was certainly a great argument you put up here.
Avengers versus Bravehearts. Who wins? The SonRise debates, 1st September 2021. Don't miss it.
Hello, sis. Good morning. So good to see you again.
You too. Hi. I'm good. Thank you. Hi.
So, Nurat,
Yes.
Can you tell me what that name means? It doesn't look like an English name.
No, it's not. Nurat is a Arabic name, and it stands for light.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice. We have plenty lights here now. So when next I see you, I'll just say, hey, sis light, how are you doing?
Yeah. Or you just abbreviate it and make it slight. Hello, slight.
Yes. Hi, slight. That would work too.
But Sister Nurat, I know that a number of people might say, I don't actually recognize this space, but we know that you've been, in House on the Rock within the church, serving, doing many things for quite a good length of time. So, if you don't mind, is there something you can tell us about yourself, just to throw a bit more light on who you are, maybe what you do in church, and then what people might not know about you?
Okay. Well, I've been in House on the Rock since 2016, and for the past few years, I've worked in the children's church, helping with the 4 to 8-year-olds, which is a bag of fun. And one other thing people might not know about me is earlier this year, I launched a clothing brand called Nunu of London, looking at... Sorry,
Nune, N-U-N-E?
No, N-U of London.
New. Oh, okay.
Nunu of London.
All right.
Just like making African attire and trying to sell them at reasonable prices.
Oh, interesting. Are you wearing a sample of the work?
Yes, this is one of my boo-boos, something very nice and light.
See, Prof, we are just too blessed on this show, too blessed. So I can get my wardrobe sorted with Nunu of London. So I guess Nunu of London can be our, is it costumier or what do you call that?
What you mean? Yes.
Be good, right? So, sis, don't worry, we'll be talking, right? We'll be talking. So, thank you so much. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. Well done. So, viewers, you've heard it. So, our sister here has a fashion, I was going to say fashion show right there, but a fashion outlet. It is called Nunu of London. So you can check that out on Instagram, I believe, because I think I've come across it as well. And by the way, can I quickly tell you, she has some very, very amazing styles there, and they're my kind of thing, right? And sis, from today, you're going to be our costumer on SonRise, and we get it for free.
I was going to ask,
we have it too.
The plug that you're doing, I'm thinking, are you getting paid for this? But
no, we're getting paid for it on SonRise, and that will be for free. So maybe Prof, she might make some African tops for you as a man as well.
I'm happy to send you samples to wear on SonRise show every Sunday.
See, there you go. I'll send you my address. In fact, I'll come and pick you up at your house. Don't worry, you don't need to even send it. I'll come and pick it up myself. But that's really good. Thank you so much. So good to have you here. All right, so sis, you joined us here for the Spotlight Minutes. And on the Spotlight Minutes, we have 2 options that you can play this morning. The first one is all about you. That's where Prof will read out some questions to you about yourself, and you just answer them, and we count how many you're able to answer under 30 seconds. And the second one is tell me something. So tell me something is where I give you a word, and then you use that word as many times as possible within, reasonable sentences that we can understand. And then, and we count how many times you're able to do so under 30 seconds. So which will be your option this morning?
It has to be about myself.
Oh, okay. So Prof, so she's going with all about you. So you're going to be reading out the questions. So can I say it is 30 seconds. And if you're not sure of any question, just say pass. And then Prof can read the next one for you. So as you know, time is of essence. Yeah. So Are you ready, sis?
Yes, I am.
Prof, are you ready?
Ready to go.
Okay, so the timer will be on the screen, but if you can't see it, don't worry about it. I'll tell you when your time starts and when it ends, okay?
Okay.
So your time starts now.
What other language can you speak?
Yoruba.
What is your drink of choice?
Orange juice.
What's the one place you're dying to travel to?
Japan.
What is something you are impressively good at?
Cooking.
Which fictional movie character would you want to marry?
Will Smith.
What is the greatest TV show of all time?
Friends.
What's your least favorite food?
Fufu.
What's your favorite board game?
7.
Oh, no. I was trying to get you to 8. Impressive.
What did I get to?
7.
Wow, 7. You got to 7. That was just one shot of, getting on the leaderboard. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
One shot of the outright lead. We've got a few people on 7 now. Nobody has quite cracked
Will
it.
Smith is not a fictional character.
Well, I'm sorry. I was going to help you there, but now you've just taken 1 point away from yourself.
I know, right?
I'm too honest for my own good.
Oh, well done. That is good.
I think you are right. I think you are. But anyway, we'll still leave it at 7. That's fine. Yes, but well done. That was so good. That was really, really good. But you know what? It just means that when you come next time, maybe you just try give me a word. If you feel, yes, maybe that will be a bit more. But it's been fun having you on the show this morning, sis. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sister Nunu.
We will see you in
London.
service. Sister Nunu of London, slide. So many names now.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
All right.
Sis.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. Well done, slide. I love that. You see, Prof, I don't know how you came up with that, but yes. So, by the way, viewers, for those who maybe you're just joining us, our guest this morning was our sister, Nurat, who joined us on the Spotlight Minutes. And she said the meaning of her name is slide. So, Prof said, well, I can either call her Sister Light or Slide. So that's where that came from. But yes, well done to you, sis, for joining us. Thank you for the time this morning. She got 7. That wasn't bad at all. And by the way, check out our handle on Instagram, Nunu of London, and check out the beautiful costumes that she has there. And by the way, she's become our costumer on this show. Anyways, viewers, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It has been fantastic. I hope you've had fun. We discussed about what? Decision making and the impact of our decisions. And so yes, let's just be mindful of that. And as Prof said, it's get knowledge, you get wisdom, and that will help you make the right decision. So yeah, always check that. Just tick the boxes. Okay, Prof, it is time for service, and as always, please take us into service.
Thank you, Bibby. And talking about decision making, this is the time you make the decision to church or not. Obviously, watching this show, you have already decided. So let's not hold you back anymore. Coming up right now, the Rock Tower Live with Hill City, Pastor Temi, and of course, a fresh word from the throne room. Don't go anywhere. See you there. God bless you.
Bye.